think it really worked for him. He knew that they would tell. That's how we know. And so, as we go on, just positioning myself, no one of the things that they'd seen till the Son of Man had risen from the dead. Well, we can only speculate about whether they told someone or not. We don't know. But given some of the antics that went on towards the crucifixion, I dare say that they did tell of what they saw. So they kept this word to themselves, questioning what the rising from the dead meant. So whilst they kept it to themselves at that point, they did wonder what the resurrection meant, what he meant by that he would rise from the dead. And they asked him, saying, why do the scribes say Elijah must come first? Come first before what? The resurrection or the Messiah? Both, because the Messiah was intrinsic. He had to come first before the resurrection could take place. So let's see what happens here. Whoops. Then he answered and told them, indeed Elijah is coming first, and will restore all things. And how it is written concerning the Son of Man that he must suffer many things and be treated with contempt. But I say to you that Elijah has also come. And they did not answer him. And they did to Elijah whatever they wished, as it was written. And he closes there. So I can't comment on that because I'm just not sure what that meant. But because on the one hand he's saying Elijah is coming, and then he says Elijah has come. So maybe he's talking about when Elijah was alive, had come, but Elijah is coming again in some way in the future. A boy healed. When he came to the disciples, he saw a great multitude around them, and scribes disputing with them. Immediately when they saw him, all the people were greatly amazed, and running to him, greeted him. And he asked the scribes, what are you discussing with them? Now, good question, isn't it? What would the scribes have been discussing with them? Well, how do legalists, the poor old scribes under the law, what do you think they were doing? They were undermining the fact that Jesus is the Christ. He'd made it clearly known now. The opposition towards him was going to intensify. That's how the law works. It takes out the one who gave it. The law is so destructive and so inflaming to the sinful nature of humanity that it was part of God's plan in getting Christ to the cross. The hatred and enmity that it caused in the Pharisees' heart was going to assist in God's plan on getting himself to the cross, because the law was designed to make man so sinful that he wouldn't even be able to recognize his own creator manifest in the flesh. There you go. The law was so destructive and evil in its result in man's heart. Uh-oh, we're in trouble now. Very shallow. Oh no, we've got just a little channel, only the width of the suck. This'll be good. Can we get through here, viewers? Look, think the tide's turned and it's starting to come in now, but we're at the bottom of the tide. The law is so the law empowers man's sinfulness so severely, so horribly. It inflames it so badly that humanity crucified its creator under the law. Can you see, please viewers, can you see how the law makes people evil? It just does. And we put the poor old Messiah on the cross, which was part of God's plan. Part of God's plan was to inflame man's heart in its sinfulness so horribly that it would culminate in mankind putting the Creator himself. We got through, viewers. Give yourselves a clap. That man would put the Creator himself on a cross. That's as good as the law could do for man. The best the law could do for man was to get the Messiah on the cross. And thank God, in his wisdom, the ingeniousness of how he made all that work. A massive big mullet in there. Oh no, that's a big brim. The GoPro won't pick it up because it's not polarized, but a massive big brim in there. So you can see, whilst the law put Christ on the cross, he fulfilled it as well. He didn't do any sin, and therefore he fulfilled it and abolished it in his body. There was nothing that the law could claim on him. There was nothing that the law could prove him guilty of. He had, for mankind, overcome the law in his body. He took the law as the law. His body was the tablet of the law. Christ's body was the living law. He was the law walking around in living form. He gave the law. He wrote the law. The Word had become flesh. The law had become flesh. And when he died on the cross, the law had no claim on him as a human being. He fulfilled the law for mankind, never to be worried about again, to be done away with. Christ had delivered us from the curse of the law. We essentially weren't under it as Gentiles, but for the Jews, Christ had delivered them from the curse of the law, having become a curse for us. Because it is written, anyone who hangs on a tree is cursed. So Christ, through the law, killed the law by fulfilling it and abolishing it. Now there's an old crab trap right there. I don't know if you can see it, but if I hit that with the fin of the sup, I'd go in. I'm just aware that it's there. So I hope that gives you some insight into Christ fulfilling the law and how he did in his sinless life. The law could claim nothing on him and do nothing to him, because in actual fact he was the giver of the law. Wow. Then verse 12 of chapter 9, verse 17, one of the crowd answered and said, Teacher, I brought you my son, who has a mute spirit, and whenever it seizes him, it throws him down, he foams at the mouth, gnashes his teeth, and becomes rigid. So I spoke to your disciples that they should cast it out, but they could not. Now, again, and this is something and I'm sure many of you agree, we have to be careful not to think that whilst we have a Christ dwelling in us, and the faith preachers will say, well, we have the same power as Christ. I have to argue that because we don't get the same results consistently like Christ did. Our results in many cases are minimal. I'm not putting doubt or unbelief onto the ones that do pray for miracles and stuff, but Jesus walked straight up to people and they were instantly healed, and things like they touched him and they were healed, as we saw with the woman with the issue of blood. I wish for all of us that that could be us, but the reality is, and the unfortunateness is, it's not. Does that mean we don't continue to pray? No. And does that cause doubt when things don't happen? Yes. But I believe firmly that we should not lose faith in praying for one another, as James said, because they were told that these things had happened, and for the majority of the time they weren't happening. So it's just don't give up. He answered and said to him, O faithless generation, how long shall I be with you? How long shall I bear with you? Bring him to me. Then they brought him to him, and when he saw him, immediately the spirit convulsed him, and he fell on the ground and wallowed, foaming at the mouth. Just want to say, as it comes to mind, the poor old doctors, you know, how are they going to... Yeah, Dr. Jason Morrison, theologist again. I just want to say thank you for watching the videos, and I hope you got plenty of self-rediscovery and freedom out of it. If you watched it on YouTube, please share or like, maybe even comment. If you watched it on Facebook, like, comment, share. But most of all, get out and live. This isn't a rehearsal. You've got a one-off life. Don't let your loyalty and your faithfulness blind you to the life that you should be experiencing. Till the next video, thank you for watching, and bye for now.